So with that, we'll call the meeting to order. Just as a reminder, this meeting is being recorded and may be played back at a later date on WRPS or other media outlets. So the first agenda item is approval of minutes. With so few on the meeting, why don't we hold that off until the end? And we'll move right into agenda item 3, discussion about environmental graphics.
So this is actually going to be a little brief. Michelle and her team have been very busy trying to get school ready for reopening. So we actually just today pushed this out and the deadline out a little further. So hopefully for our next meeting, we will have an update for you.
Okay. So agenda item 4 will be discussion on the MSBA 60% submission on the comments.
All right, so as with all of our submissions with the MSBA, we receive a list of comments back from them on the package for completeness, and we're happy to report that there was no showstoppers, there was nothing that jumped out. There was really, the comments were very, very minimal. Some technical comments about what should be included in the 90% drawings, not really anything against what was in the 60% drawings, so we were very happy with the comments. And they have been responded to, and they've been sent back to the MSBA, and we haven't heard back from them if there's anything lacking in our response. So we think that we're in really good shape, and we're looking forward to the next submission.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Next one, discussion about the contract pre-qualification. I know we had the little sub group.
Yep. So we did have a subgroup. We voted on it and set it up last month at the meeting last month. So just to remind everybody, there is a pre-qualification committee required. Right now, it is Mark, Sham, Alan, myself, and is it Lorraine or Mariana? And Lorraine. So we've set up a meeting for Monday. It's tentative right now. We're waiting for people to accept it, make sure it works. But that'll be our first meeting on the pre-qual committee. And the purpose of that is just to get everyone who hasn't done this before or haven't done it in a while, to remind them what the pre-qual committee does. And what we're going to do is ask for references and basically we're going to look for all of the subcontractors and general contractors to tell us why they're qualified for the project. So the first step in this is to figure out what makes them qualified for a project. So Mitch and our team has gone through and we're setting up our templates for this. And there are some items that are statutory. There are requirements that are if they don't have them, the non-starter, those are these mandatory requirements. And I have this zoomed in, so the next slide, we can see it a little bit better. There's management experience, there's references, and then there's capacity to complete the job. So that's how these get broken down. Oh.
Sean, hold on. I don't see the presentation that's shared. Does anyone else see it, or is it just me that can't see it?
I can see it.
I can see it.
I can see it.
I can email it to you, Rich.
Okay.
Let me pull that up. So so what happens is the mandatory requirements are requirements that are if you don't meet those, which is basically your bonding capacity, your DCAM, you got to be a certified DCAM contractor. You need to provide an update statement. You need to acknowledge the agenda, and you need to sign that everything you submitted is true under pains and penalties of perjury. So if you don't do that, you are not a qualified contractor. Then beyond that, what we're going to look at is past projects. What have you done? What's your management experience? Do you own the business? Who are the people you're presenting to this? Have you ever been terminated? Have you ever been sued? What is your safety record? So in that category, there's 50 points that are available and a minimum of 25 are required. We've laid this out as a sample, and you can see the numbers up top here. 1 for business owners, 3 for management personnel, 28 for similar projects experience. That's what PMA has done on other projects, but the purpose of the Monday meeting is to go through the qualification committee, and the qualification committee is going to determine which points go where. So we'll have discussions around how we're going to grade them and the points that we're going to give them and where the points are going to be given. And once we do that, when we send out these packages to the subs, how the point spread works is going to be included, so everyone's going to know how we're grading these. Everyone needs to be graded the same. Everyone needs to be put on equal playing field. We want to bring in as many qualified subs as possible. We will not reject anyone for any reason except for them not being qualified. We really do want a big bidder pool here, so we're going to reach out and try to get as many bidders in here as possible, because that's how, you know, we tend to get the best pricing. But we also need to be careful to make sure that the people that are bidding on this project have a good track record and are qualified to do it. So the next category is the reference checks. There's a 30 point minimum here, and there is, right now we put 28 points in references, and then a credit reference and a public project record, we put 1 and 1, because really what's most important to us is the references. What projects have you done? What projects have you done in the last 3 to 5 years, and who's going to say a good thing about what you've done? Because we find we're going to call a ton of references on these subcontractors, and we want to make sure that they did a good job, and we want to make sure that there's no red flags. So we really, really, really heavily weight these reference checks, and we take them very seriously. And then the next one is the capacity to complete. It is, what is your annual revenue for the past 3 years, and how much work do you have on a contract for the next 3 years? So what size projects are you typically doing? And what do you have geared up? So do you have the capacity within your company to do it? So, you know, if your annual revenue for the past 3 years was $50 million, in the next 3 years, you already have $60 million under contract, that's going to throw a red flag for us. And it's going to say, well, maybe they're trying to grow too big, too fast, or, you know, maybe someone like that isn't the right fit because they're too busy. So that's how we weed out or try to weed out people who are chasing this work that maybe don't have the capacity to complete it at this time. That's a general overview of what we're going to do for the pre-qualification. For this committee, we do have a working group subcommittee that is going to be going into much more detail on these. But I just wanted to give the committee an understanding of what the process is, and open it up if anyone had any questions, to let me know what questions you have, and we can try to answer them.
Yeah, Sean, what does DCAM mean?
DCAM is the Department of Capital Asset Management. So it is the state organization that if you want to bid on a state project, you need to be DCAM certified. So you submit a qualification package to DCAM, and they go through all of your financial statements, and there's a lot that goes into it, and they will tell you whether or not you're certified to do a project in Massachusetts, whether you're qualified, and they will also give you a single project limit and a total project limit. So you know, a smaller contractor is going to get a smaller project limit. And if our estimate for that scope of work is higher than their DCAM certified project limit, then they will not be eligible to do the project. If we have a $10 million electric package and the DCAM as certified an electrician as a $2 million single project limit contractor, they're obviously too small to do this project. And the way that works is you start out with DCAM showing them your past work, and every so often you resubmit to DCAM and say, well, I got a bigger project, I want my limit up. And so over time, DCAM will actually up your limit. And it's a way to protect, you know, a way to help the towns verify that the contractors who they're hiring are can actually pull off the work, and they're not a small contractor that thinks they can do a big project. So DCAM helps in initial stages, helps kind of weed that out right off the bat.
Awesome.
But
Thank you.
Sean, that's just from a financial standpoint. It has nothing to do with the abilities of the company.
It's yes, it's two things. It is that initially, but then every public project we do, including this one and every other project, we have to, at the end of the project, provide a DCAM reference or DCAM review. So we will rate every single contractor on this project, and if you get 3 failing scores within a year, DCAM will decertify you, and then you have to go back to them for recertification. So initially, yeah, it's a financial thing when you initially get certified, but after that, it's also a reference, and we will check their certificate of eligibility, and we'll check their update statement, which will give us their average DCAM evaluation score, and we'll be able to tell how many failing scores they've had in the past year, if they've had any, what is their score, and it'll help us just more information on each contractor to make sure that they are a qualified contractor to do the project.
John, I get a question. Does MSBA play a part in this at all? Do they have any recommendations or any references that they have from previous projects?
They don't. I mean, sometimes they might if they have something egregious, just because we have a great relationship with a lot of our project managers, they might give us the heads up on someone. But for the most part, it all goes through DCAM, through the 149 bidding process. MSBA will tell you all the time they're a funding organization, which is what they are. They're a grant program. So they're going to help you get into their program, and they're going to make sure you provide it. But as far as the bidding and the contractor, it's all prescribed per Mass General Law 149 for this project, because it's a general contractor project.
All right, any other questions?
No.
All right. So with that, we go into item number 6, discussion about structural peer review.
Okay, so structural peer review is a requirement for this project, and it's a requirement of the MSBA. What it means is that when SMMA presents their 90% structural drawings, we're going to send it to another structural engineer, and that structural engineer is going to review it for compliance to make sure that SMMA's drawings are complete. We've never had an issue with that. It's just, it's something that is a requirement of the MSBA. So for this project, PMA actually has 4 projects that are roughly in the same timeline. So we packaged all of those projects together, and we asked all of our structural peer reviewers to, hey, price it out as basically as a package deal, because we thought we'd get much better pricing. We performed reference checks. We actually checked with people who've used DM Berg was the consultants is the structural peer review we're going to be using. We reached out to SMMA structural engineer that I have on another project. We reached out to PMA people who have used DM Berg, and they all gave them good reviews. They said they're a fine company to do a structural peer review. So we resulted in it's $1,800 structural peer review. With the cost is it's unheard of. It's about as low as I've ever seen a structural peer review. And I think it speaks to doing 4 at once. So someone at DM Berg is going to spend a couple days doing all of PMA's projects at once. It's one contractor. So we really wanted to try to bring the savings to towns, and everybody benefited across the board. We took the cost that they provided. We spread it's by square footage of building, and the Rockland cost is $1,832. When I initially put this on the agenda, we hadn't had the final pricing. So I mean, we typically see it somewhere 6 to 10. Yeah, $6,000 to $8,000. So we're very happy with the price, and we're happy that we're able to kind of package this deal and make it, have a good contractor come in with a great price, because they're doing for it. We're giving them enough business to make it worth their while.
Cool.
John, thank you.
All right.
That's great. Item number 7, review of the project invoices.
So for this month, I did send out a package earlier today. We have 2 invoices. One's from PMA. It also includes our third-party estimator, PMNC, for the 60% estimate set. And then SMMA's invoice, their monthly invoice, plus some of their contractors as we push towards the 90%. And that's it for this month.
And that's all set. We don't have to take a vote on it. How we've already managed this. This is just so everyone's aware of the invoices each month.
Yep, and I've been in the attachment that was sent out. This sheet is included, as well as all copies of all the invoices and our budget, our cash flow, and where we're sitting. That goes to the town accountant as well, so she has a chance to review it. And then if there's no questions on this, Alan signs it, sends it to the town accountant, and then she processes it for payment. So we're still on budget. We're still on track. There's no surprises here. Everything is as scheduled and per the cash flow and as we would expect to see.
That's good. Does anyone have any questions?
Oh, it sounds great to me. I'll tell you, this is Dick Phelps. It's very refreshing for someone who sat through one of these before. I really like the sound of the way things are moving ahead.
Great, that's good to hear. We like to hear that, and I think everyone at town has been very supportive of the project, which is certainly helpful.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got two more things. So let's go back to the minutes. So we do have one more one more person who has joined us. So I will take a motion for the minutes of August 6th.
Make a motion to pass the minutes of August 6th.
Second,
Who was the second?
Alan.
Alan Cron.
All right. So I get a first and a second. We'll do a roll call. Chris Bernica,
Yes.
Julie Schaefer,
Yes.
Ashley, I don't know if, Ashley, were you at that meeting?
I was not.
Okay. Alan,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Dick, I don't think you were at that one.
No, I wasn't.
Jared,
Yes.
Doug Lapp,
Yes.
Mark Shawn,
Yes.
Christine Flaherty,
Yes.
and myself, that's a yes. So those are approved. And the next is, I would like to turn this over to Dick Phelps, who would like to address the committee. Mr. Phelps.
Yes, thank you, Rich. I want to profusely thank the committee as a whole for the generosity that they had showed to my wife and myself at that last meeting. It totally blew me away. My wife, I know, is smiling from ear to ear. It's just a wonderful, wonderful tribute that you folks have bestowed, and I can't thank you enough. I consider you all friends. I've known you long enough to do that, and I thank you. It was, as I recall, a unanimous vote. And I want to thank Mr. Biggins for a very, very eloquent presentation. Probably more than what I deserved, and my wife, but I'll tell you, we'll take it. It's just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful tribute to us, and I couldn't be more honored. It's probably the high point of anything that I've done as far as schools since I've been involved, and that's been a few years. So that's all I wanted to say, but again, thank you to all.
You're welcome. Well deserved, Dick.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So Dick, thank you. Haven't had an opportunity to really talk to you since then, and your family continues, your wife, your family continues to be pillars of the community, and this was honestly both, the minimum we could have done to show what you and your family have done and continue to do for this town.
Well, it's something that the family and I particularly have always enjoyed. It's kind of a selfish act that we've done over the years, because you don't do something, well, particularly in my case, for no remuneration, then continue to do it. You're not really gaining a lot other than satisfaction. And that's, my wife looked at it that way, and that's the way I've looked at it. So it's just, again, a wonderful tribute. Thank you.
Any other comments by anyone on the board? All right, with that, then we'll go to agenda item 8, which is next steps.
All right, so for us, we are pushing forward into 90%. So the architecture team is feverishly designing and finishing up the drawings for the building for our next submission to the MSBA. We are also reaching out to various town agencies to make sure all the permitting, and we'll continue to do that, reaching out to the school departments with questions, and we're fielding those questions. The other portion is, like we've already talked about, is that pre-qualification. We're starting it now, and our pre-qualification packages are actually going out early October. So it's going to be here before you know it. The drawings are going to be ready at the end of the year, and bidding is starting just January 6th right now is on the schedule. So we are, it's going to come really quick. We're 3 months away from, just over 3 months away from getting bids in. So I know we all know it's coming fast. It's getting real very fast, and we're very excited about it.
All right, sounds good.
Anything to add, Lorraine? I don't know. I want to make sure SMA has an opportunity if there's anything beyond what I noted.
No, I mean, our team is really pulling the building together. We have 2 meetings a week where we walk through the Enscape model, and it might seem like nitpicking to our team, but we are literally like, let's move that device, let's move that fire extinguisher cabinet, that doesn't look right there. We were really trying to hone in on the details, so that when you walk into that building, when it's open, you're not going to say, why did they put this here? So some of the tools we have available to us today, we didn't have years ago, and it has really improved the design effort and the collaboration between our team. Our engineers are on this walkthrough, and everyone's like, move that outlet, that doesn't look good there. So it's really coming together, and we'll do another walkthrough hopefully by the next building committee meeting, to bring you into some of the spaces, and I think you'll be really blown away with how it has started to come together.
Great.
Green,
So-
thank you. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, and as in the past, we'll share the next drawing set so everyone can have a chance to peek through the drawings and make comments on them as well.
Great.
All right, any other comments?
Getting
So if
exciting.
not, oh, go ahead.
I just said it's getting exciting.
It absolutely is. It is. Only a few more months really before we start breaking ground. So it really is getting exciting.
Wow. Good.
All right, with that, our next scheduled meeting is, I believe it's October 15th. At this point, we'll plan on doing it virtually again. I do think that we'll continue doing this virtually for probably a little while longer, unfortunately. Looking forward to the day that we can all actually get in the room together, because while this forum has been productive, I still don't think it replaces getting in the room together and really developing a chemistry within the committee and just getting deeper into it. So, but
I
we'll
agree,
continue
Rich.
doing this. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Got a motion by Julie, got a second?
Second.
All right, got a couple of seconds. So we'll go from Chris, and I'll do a roll call. Chris Benica,
Yes.
Julie Schaefer,
Yes.
Ashley Cutter,
Yes.
Alan,
Yes.
Emily Davidson.
Yes.
Sorry about that. There's a little slip. Michelle Shifley,
Yes.
Dick Phelps,
Yes.
Jared Valenzola.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever been in a meeting before with Jared that he didn't say anything. This is a first. Doug
Well,
Lapp.
it's still time. You haven't fully adjourned yet, Rich.
This is true. Doug
Thanks,
Lapp.
everyone.
Regular committee meeting. I thought it was,
Mark Shum,
Yes.
Christine Flaherty.
Yes.
With that, we are adjourned. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
everybody. Stay safe.
Thank you,
you.
everybody.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
Oh.